Welcome back, folks. In this video, I want to talk about how the recovery process of the tomato seedlings is going, what I used on the stressed out seedlings to make them better, and how to separate seedlings growing in the same container without killing them. As I showed in the last video, I went on vacation and my tomatoes got unhealthy in my absence, and when I got back, I gave them a bit of love and they've started the healing process. Stick around until the end and I'll show you how well the sun golds have recovered. This is what I give all my stressed out plants. I've talked about this a lot, and that's because it really is a game changer. It gives my plants the early nitrogen and micronutrients they need to deal with transplant shock, illness recovery, and leafy green growth. As you can see, the leaves on these guys have yellowing. Yellowing on tomato leaves can indicate many things, including a nitrogen deficiency, since the tomatoes use nitrogen for strong green leaves. To give the stressed out plants a feed of this stanky fertilizer, I'll mix it up about 1 tablespoon per gallon, so about 2 tablespoons for my favorite 2-gallon watering can. Make sure not to use this on your indoor plants unless you want your house smelling like a fish processing plant. When you fill the watering can, I recommend you remove the head off of your garden watering wand, or else this will happen. The feed will foam up and plug up the spout and shower head of your watering can. While I fill up this watering can, I want to thank everybody who has watched and liked any of my videos, and all of my subscribers, and to let you guys know that if you're ever interested in any of the gardening stuff I use, you can check out my affiliate links in the description of my videos. Your support means the world to me. Alright, it's time to feed these seedlings and help them along in recovery. Fish emulsion is water soluble and can be absorbed through the leaves of the plants, so I will be overhead watering these seedlings with it, making sure to cover the leaves. This stuff is really gentle, and that's why I don't worry about making precise measurements, and instead prefer to eyeball the ratio of water to feed. I'm going to just water them until the medium is pretty thoroughly saturated in this stuff. You can see the Brandy Boy tomato seedlings up at the front, closest to the camera. They seem to be recovering nicely. I should be able to give them this feed every week and a half or so until they look stocky, green, and fully recovered. Now that that's done, I'll let them dry out before bringing them back indoors because of the smell. Here's one final glance at them. I'll show you what they look like in the next video in this series. They should be a little healthier by then. Alright. Next order of business. I noticed this tray of Mountain Magic tomatoes had multiple plants per cell, and I think it's time to tease them apart and transplant them into their own containers. Before they get so tangled up, it'll stunt them to separate them. Since these seedlings are going to be potted up, I will be adding mushroom compost and an organic granular to my sterile seed mix. The mix being made up of nothing but coco coir, perlite, and vermiculite. The compost will give the plant nutrients long enough for the organic granular to start breaking down and slowly feeding the plants as well. I'm going to throw a few handfuls of this stuff into the 3-gallon bucket of sterile seed mix and add maybe a quarter of the bucket in mushroom compost. Next, I'm going to thoroughly mix everything together, and I figured it would be better to just get a slightly wider pot to make it easier to mix this stuff around. I decided to go for a little more mushroom compost here to take this from being a seed starting mix to a proper potting mix. I made sure to mix it pretty thoroughly, because I don't want there to be an uneven distribution of organic granular fertilizer. Mixing your own potting soil is extremely cost efficient, especially if you start a lot of your own plants. If you do not start a lot of your own plants, then the store-bought bags are an okay choice as well. The reason I prefer not to get them, aside from the cost, is because they bulk up the bags with sticks and bark chips to save money on coco coir and perlite. You may or may not know this, but sticks and wood chips that haven't rotted and turned dark sap nitrogen from the soil as they break down, and so long term, these potting mixes require nitrogen amendments. I buy the bags of mushroom compost at Home Depot or Lowe's, and I like it because it's fluffy. And the rest of the stuff I use to make the starting and potting mix I get on Amazon, and I'll have links for that stuff in the description. Alright, this is pretty well mixed, and now let's talk about containers. I've got a variety of containers here. These green ones are good quality and durable. They are the June Fox nursery pots from Amazon. Alright, here we've got the thin leftover nursery pots from my plant purchases over the years, and they are thin and not so great. And it's the same story with these round pots as well. And now, this last one is my favorite. This is a repurposed chicken liver container that I used a red hot nail to melt drainage holes into the bottom of. I used these for 2 seasons and my plants seem to love them. Time to fill these containers up with our soil mix. I'll do about a handful per pot. I'm only filling them up about halfway, and it'll become obvious in a minute why I do that. I really do love these little gardening tasks. Therapy for the soul, I'd say. If only more people got out and did this stuff. I don't remember what I was thinking here. Maybe trying to give you guys my best Salt Bay impression? What does that make me? Dirt Bay? Alright, to the main event. Actually teasing these plants apart. I gently pushed the soil block out of the tray, and you can see the 2 seedlings here. We are going to pull them apart without damaging the roots, and this is how. We are going to wash away the soil in this container of water, and after the main bulk of the mix is washed off, we will gently grab the seedlings by the base of the stems where the roots attach to the stem, and we are going to dunk the roots in and out of the water gently while teasing apart the roots with each dunk. Every time I feel resistance, I give them a dunk and try pulling them apart again. With each dunk, the roots get less and less tangled, and you don't have to rip them to get them apart. This is a very effective strategy, and if you buy plants from nurseries, they often come with too many in one pot. Instead of clipping them at soil level, try this method to tease them apart and get free plants that way. It has worked very, very well for me in the past. Now I can take these separated plants and pot them up. This is why I left these pots half empty, so I can put the root ball of these plants into the pot and top the pot off the rest of the way, covering some of the stem of the tomatoes. Tomatoes can grow roots all along the hairy bits of the stem that get covered in soil, and since these seedlings are a bit thin and tall, burying them deeper will benefit them greatly. Now I'll do the rest of these and get back to you when I'm done. You can skip ahead to 13 minutes and 11 seconds if you don't want to see me do this repeatedly. There they are. I've transplanted all the doubles, and now I'm going to thoroughly water them in. My garden hose wand is very gentle and it has a lower setting to make it even gentler. This is great for seedlings like mine. I'll just give them a thorough drink and we will call it good there. Check out these sun gold tomatoes. They are looking much better than when I first got home from vacation. If you made it to this point, I want to genuinely thank you. Your support is very encouraging and I appreciate all of you. If you have any questions or something to say or suggest, leave it in the comments for me. This series continues and next video will be out soon. Just as a reminder, if you're ever interested in any of the stuff I use in my videos, check out the description because I post affiliate links there for most of the things that I use. Update video soon. See you then.